Okay, so we got our 2026 late January snowstorm across the whole East Coast and sort of middle of the U.S. here. We're going to fire up the snowblower we just had in our last video with the mismatched head, and we're going to start plowing with it just to show folks that, yeah, works fine. So let's put a video together real quick and see how it goes. All right, I'm gonna fire it up and then get to it. So you saw it fires up just fine. One pull, we go out there, we run it. I don't know, what do we run it for? 2 minutes or something? Yeah, make the right turn and boom, it's dead. Out there, I paused the video, but I pulled it a couple times. It wouldn't start. I brought it inside. I put the pressure meter on it. I knew it either through a rod or through the rings. So remember, this was a $50 mower and it was seized up, and we never really honed the cylinder. Never pulled it out and put new rings on it. I knew the rings were suspect, right, in the last video. But on the old head, it didn't have as much compression, so it didn't really matter. The rings were fine. It ran 10, 12 hours last season, no problem. We got 2 minutes this season with a good head on it, and I think the rings shattered. Basically, they got up to running temperature, and boom, destroyed themselves. I put the pressure meter on here. I'm gonna crank it over. We're gonna see what the pressure is, but I guarantee the rings have destroyed themselves. Sorry I didn't film myself, taking this all apart. I was just kind of like, let me get it prepared for a video. I really wasn't planning on filming a longer form video than like 5 minutes, just show you the snowblower works with the wrong head and just move forward in life. But let's pull this off and or let's run the crank here. I've got it plugged in. Just gonna crank it real quick. Fairly certain the rings shattered. I'll put it like this and maybe zoom the video for a second. What do we get to? We got to 40. I got to 40. So I'm pretty sure the rings were blown. Let's take the let's just take the cover off where the valves are, and just make sure like we didn't throw throw a valve or after whatever, a rod. Let's just see that we didn't throw a rod. Let me get this out of the way. Got it stripped down, 60%. We could have pulled the piston off and fixed it. Okay, I don't know if I have to. Yeah, there's parts of the ring in here. Yeah, we shattered a ring. I don't know if the camera can zoom into this well enough, but you can see the little particles on my finger, maybe. I don't know. I can't really see what the camera's filming right now, but there are particles all up in here from the ring. One or more of them. I mean, there's a whole bunch. I mean, shoot. Let me just pull the camera off here. Let's see if I can't get in here close. I don't know if you can see, like right along here, all these little pieces of particle that are all floated up in here through the valve hole. Now, there's some particles right there. I mean, the oil pump sender is working, but the engine it's kind of kaput. Okay, so it is a number of days later since we had our catastrophic failure. I've stripped this thing back down to the bone because I had strongly suspected that the rings had disintegrated. The rust on them was into a new season, new head, all the extra pressure, firing power, that the rings had just dissolved and caked all over the engine. We saw them, in the valve cover here. I mean, there's all this bits of goop, whatever. And then I pulled the head off. We did a pressure test. It was only around 40 pounds. I pulled the head off since then, and found the head gasket had actually dissolved. I believe these head gaskets are called fire ring gaskets because they have this metal part. I mean, it's just really disintegrating. They have this little metal part, and it compresses when you actually torque everything down to spec, which is in between like 18 and 22 pounds, foot-pounds. Here's a new ring, right? It doesn't actually have the fire ring in it. This one is an OEM ring. I did order it from the OEM. So this one's a new gasket. It doesn't have the fire ring, but it is a new gasket for this specific engine. So I think what I'm going to do is, after inspecting all the stuff, you can see there's bits of that gasket, old gasket, all over the place. Gonna have to clean that up, I think, and see where that gets me. But and then yeah, I guess we'll clean it all up. I mean, I did feel in here on the cylinder, and it's no more scored than it used to be. There's a little bit of gasoline that dripped in here, but that's fine, it'll burn off. I did drain the tank and then pinched this up. It's been dripping a little bit. So I'm gonna clean all this up off camera, and then I think put it all back together, and we'll give it a pressure test after that and see if we're still at 40 pounds. And if we're back to 120-ish plus, then we will, I guess we'll give it a go again. Well, we'll have to drain the oil and give it a go again to get the rest of this particulate out. I'll probably have to spray some, I don't know, some cleaner in here to get all this junk out. I'm not gonna have you watch me clean up my my head gasket disaster, but I'll bring it back in a minute. All right, it's all cleaned up. Got all the surface scraped down, got all that cleaned off. A little bit of a nice razor job there. This is all nice and clean on the inside here. This one's tight because we don't want to lose our exhaust little thing, but it's all nice and clean on the inside of there. And we cleaned up this, and I didn't show it when I reassembled it, but the point is you do want to lubricate with a little bit of oil the valves when you stick them in here. You want to lubricate everything a little bit with some oil. I'll stick this down here on my towel. Folks who watched the first video will note that I have the pin up here. You probably noted I had the pin up here when I took it apart. I actually took it apart before I used it after I did the original video, and it hadn't snowed before it snowed. I took it apart and actually put that coupler in the right place. To do that, let me make sure I don't lose my little pin. I drilled out this top hole in this cylinder head, because remember, this cylinder head's not the cylinder head that goes on this one. It's slightly different apparently, in that it has those alignment pins on the bottoms, and we needed the alignment pins caddy corner. So since this is soft metal, just drilled it out so it would fit. So it will remain aligned, so to speak. So now we just got to put it back together like we normally would. I guess I should show you. I mean, it still turns over just fine. There's no shrapnel coming up, and the edges are nice. So I think we'll just align the new cover here for the new gasket and get this thing put together, and then give it a pressure test. So this should just align up like so. It does. You should put, there we go. Should put just a little bit of oil. Like when you put these in, they say you should put a little bit of oil on these just so they slide in nice. I'm going to go ahead and screw all these in, get all this hooked up. I'm not going to show myself realigning the gaps on these. It's 006 and 004, I think, or yeah, 006 and 004. I'm just going to get all this together, and I'll bring you back in after it's all together. Okay, it is all put together. Encountered some problems, but we'll just see where we're at. I think this engine wants to be dead. The two top cylinder head bolts do not torque to spec. I mean, they might torque to 7 pounds or something, and then they just kind of give up. So I don't know if this block itself on the other side, the engine side, has just been taken apart and put back together one too many times. Who knows? The bolts all seem pretty okay, so let's see what it does. Remember, before we took it apart and it was all blown to bits sort of on the inside there, we were at 40 pounds. So let's see where we're at now and decide what we're going to do. But I suspect that this engine just wants to be dead. You know, it was abandoned into a wasteland of rust, and I think it just wants to be dead. 1, 2, 3. And what did we get? Ooh, man, it doesn't even register. I wonder if we plug it in and see what we get if we run it on starter and just see what it gets. It's 0 there, but let's run it on the starter and see. Zero's about no good, so 0's the worst you can get. Build me pressure. Well, that built what, 25 maybe. Okay, so I think we're just gonna call this one dead. Okay, well, our winter experiment did not work. Frankly, I think the head worked just fine. Or the cylinder head worked just fine. I think the the unit itself has just been too neglected over the years, and the gasket going out on it probably, probably caused a little bit of catastrophic shearing kind of at the top there of the cylinder block portion. I could recoil it and get bolts to go in there and torque to the proper spec, but this engine itself is just trash in the first place, right? So rather than expend extra time trying to get this engine itself back out of the graveyard, so to speak, we're gonna repower this machine with a different engine. Have to do a little bit of research. I did pull off the the pulley a couple, like whatever it was, 2 weeks ago when I was first having this problem, and measured the shaft, and the shaft is shaft 7/8, but most engines you can get on the engine, the shafts are like 3/4 or 1 inch, and then on top of that you can buy a sleeve. If you get like the 3/4, you can buy a sleeve, which I'm probably going to go that route, but you can buy a keyed sleeve and use the exact same pulleys. But then the problem you come into is that this shaft out is about, it's a little under 3 inches, and depending on the engines you look at, none of them are exactly long enough. I know I've seen there's videos on YouTube, obviously, of people repowering these with various engines. I'm going to figure out what some of those folks might have done and see what I want to go with on this. The remainder of the unit is, I mean, in great shape. Unfortunately, it's just the engine that sucks. So I guess if you enjoyed the first part of the series where we powered this thing with an incorrect cylinder head and it blew up, so to speak, and if you've enjoyed the second part of the series where we tried to see how bad it was, like and subscribe. I will get back to doing some productive stuff here in the coming weeks. Thanks for watching. Have a wonderful weekend. See ya.